At Total Pharmacy Care, we fill your prescriptions and answer any questions about your medications. No distractions and no long lines. Tell your doctor to send your prescriptions to Total Pharmacy Care. Welcome back. Unwired Appalachia podcast, coolest podcast in all the land. And we want to say thank you real quick to our sponsors, Bruce Walters. Bruce Walters just updated pricing on all their new inventory. Go check them out, brucewaltersford.net. Great guys. We know a lot of their salesmen. If you're buying cars anywhere else, get your life together.
We're also brought to you by Presbyterian Homes of Cedar Creek and Good Shepherd at Phelps. If you are looking for quality care for loved ones, look no further than Presbyterian Homes of Cedar Creek and Good Shepherd at Phelps. Both facilities treat your loved ones with care and respect. They offer therapy, daily activities, exquisite cuisine, and home-like settings to make your family members feel at home. Call to schedule an appointment today. At Cedar Creek, call Jessica Thacker at 432-8243, and at Good Shepherd, call 456-8725. Caring for your loved ones is what we do best.
All right, and we are, as always, brought to you by the Appalachian newspapers as well as Appalachian Wireless Arena. Joined to my left by regional sports editor, Randy White.
Got it.
It's
that
2
time.
weeks in a row. Josh Blankenship, staff writer for the Appalachian newspapers. Corey Vance behind the cameras. And as you can see, Shelby Valley football practice, shooting from Shelby Valley's field, just off a huge Pike County Bowl win.
Pike County Bowl was fun.
Huge win.
Little
Physical
hungover
game
from all the football this weekend.
Those kids out there have to be sore.
Absolutely.
Because that was a physical game. But before we talk about Pike Central and Shelby Valley's great game, Friday night was opening night.
Big time game.
Phelps came out and picked up a big win, 47-6 over Eastridge. Phelps looked really good. No drop off from last year. There were some questions. Nobody, didn't know how they were going to take the coaching change. No effect so far. And then the second game, Belfry picks up a 39-20 win over LCA. And got to give credit to Belfry. They do what they do. They wear you down. They took a 26-20 lead late into the fourth and turned it into a 39-20 win.
Yeah, and credit to LCA for coming into a hostile environment, tough place to play, spreading Belfry out, showing basically a diametric opposite of what Belfry does is what LCA did on offense. And really just credit to Belfry and LCA for making those halftime adjustments. Kind of a stalemate all through the third quarter. Belfry broke that game open by going to the Wildcat.
With Isaac Dixon, and he found Peyton Hensley on a busted play, and I think it was a 40-some yard strike, and that really put the game away for Belfry. LCA's offense kept sputtering out. Give credit to Belfry's defense. A couple interceptions, and you were talking about
huge interceptions. I think it was Isaiah Birchfield.
Yeah, and almost the player of the game for us.
Yeah.
Real close to being the player of the game on radio, but those were arguably the two biggest plays of the game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it goes to Belfry's defensive line for the pressure they were able to bring, especially later in the game, because Cook, once he got his hands on it, man, one of those interceptions, he got his hands on it, went straight up in the air, and then you got Mounts, he capitalized.
And it was basically an absolutely electric night at both places, Belfry, and then you go to Pikeville, second night of the Pike County Bowl.
That's one of the biggest crowds for a Pike County Bowl I've ever seen, and what a first game to start off with. Pike Central and Shelby Valley behind us, 12-7, physical game. One coach would make an adjustment. The other coach would follow with an adjustment. And it was just a chess match. That's what happens when two teams know each other that well.
Just a really good coaching matchup.
It really was.
And it's what you look. I mean, if you enjoy high school football and just the strategy that goes into football in general, I mean, you can't ask for much more than what Pikeville and or Pike Central and Shelby Valley showed us at the Pike County Bowl this week.
And we've said his name a lot, and we'll probably be talking to him in just a little bit. But Dalton Mead, the kid was beat up, banged up, but he had another great game.
And as you can see, a little bit of change of scenery in order.
Started raining.
Yeah, Mother Nature intervened on our part, so that's all right. We adjust and adapt, and that's what we do. So moving on to night 2 of the Pike County Bowl. This team that's behind us here was in a absolute street fight with Pike Central.
It was a physical game, and that's what we thought it was going to be. We thought maybe it'd be a little bit more high score, but man, what a great game. It was one adjustment after the next, and Shelby Valley did enough to hold on. And Dalton Mead, we talk about him all the time. The kid was beat up and banged up. He'd been hit all night. Comes up with a big interception as Pike Central's driving I guess there's about a minute left, and he comes up with a big interception to seal the win for Shelby Valley. So what a great game.
Yeah, and did it on both sides of the ball, too. I can think of at least 2 times where he probably saved a touchdown.
At least.
On defense.
He had a pick, too.
Yeah, and the pick at the end of the game. Definitely a well-deserved win for the Shelby Valley Wildcats.
And he also threw a 39-yard touchdown, which is, Shelby Valley's not known for throwing, 39-yard touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that was a critical play.
And Josh and I were talking with the coach before we started shooting here that Dalton Mead actually throws a pretty good ball.
Pretty good ball.
I think maybe that's something to look for going down the road with the Shelby Valley Wildcats. Big game coming up against Ridgeview. And then the last game of the Pike County Bowl. A lot of anticipation going into this one.
Wow.
Pikeville against Mingo Central. I think most people kind of thought that we thought it was going to be a shootout. Mingo Central was definitely.
Josh, actually picked Mingo to win.
Not a bad pick.
Not a bad pick.
But in retrospect,
in theory,
yeah.
Man, I just thought I thought the offense was going to look a little bit better than what it did.
But Mingo made some early mistakes in that game.
Yeah.
There was a pooch kick that the snap was bad and gave Pikeville great field position. And then there was a 4th and goal on the 1, and Pikeville came up with a big fumble. After that, it was off to the races for Pikeville. Mingo really couldn't recover from that. So, big win for Pikeville. Isaac McNamee, 9 of 13, 240 yards, 3 TDs. I mean, just phenomenal. And then the run John Collum had late in the first half, we compared him to Marshawn Lynch.
Yes.
He just ran over everybody.
Pikeville just very physical on both sides of the football, and we were talking about it. This may be the greatest show on turf.
It might be.
I mean, these guys, you're talking about a sophomore quarterback who can absolutely spin it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he likes to stretch the field, put pressure on the defense, and Mingo tried to man them up.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
Not working.
Well, and I'll say this, man. Pikeville kind of just proved to me how good they really are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I kind of thought Pikeville was going to be pretty good, but I did not expect it to be that good.
Like, that was a show.
Well, big takeaway from the Pike County Bowl is there's a ton of talent.
A ton of
young talent.
The other takeaway from me is the support of the community.
Oh,
both nights.
Yeah.
I mean, that second night, these kids were playing in a crowd of, I don't know how many people were there. I mean, there was so many people there. I mean, what an atmosphere.
Yeah, shout out to everybody who helps put on the Pike County Bowl. I mean, it's a top-tier event, and they just do a great job with it year in and year out. And then, like you said, man, I don't know that I've seen W.C. Hamley Athletic Complex that packed.
This was my 15th Pike County Bowl. This is the biggest crowd I've ever seen that second night at Pikeville. And it's not even close, I don't think.
Yeah. How about that parking, though, guys? Did anybody else see the parking?
Yeah, the parking situation was completely out of control, but, credit to
just another testament to the crowd, though.
Yeah, credit to everybody who came out to support their team, and congrats to all the teams that went out there, left it on the field, and competed this week in the Pike County Bowl, and lots of stuff to look forward to coming up. Stick around. We're going to have some coaches and some players from the Shelby Valley Wildcats come over and talk to the guys about Pike County Bowl and the upcoming schedule.
Yep. We got Shelby Valley's Dalton Mead and Peyton Blackburn here coming off a big win against Pike Central. A very, very physical game. Just kind of talk about what you were going through at the end of that game. I know you were pretty beat up going into it. Out there all night, took a beat, and run the ball, throw the ball. Just kind of talk about what you were feeling after that game.
I wasn't feeling good, that's for sure. But it was just get out there, do my job, help get a team win. That's what I came down to.
Yeah, and Peyton, big physical game out there. The line of scrimmage was a big key to that game. Just talk about how fun that was or how tough that was. Playing against Pike Central, you knew they were going to throw extra guys at you. Just kind of talk about that game and the physicality.
The physicality part, I really enjoyed it. I love being physical, getting out there and hit. And, they sit 2 or 3 guys sometimes to block me, but, that's just part of the game.
Yeah, and Dalton, we talked a little bit about that interception at the end to kind of seal it, but, you threw a touchdown early on that kind of got you all going offensively. Just talk about how big that was, throwing the ball, at a time when they probably wasn't looking for it. That kind of opened things up for you, I think.
Yeah, it's fun. That's something you don't really see a lot from our coaches, But overall, it was just what we needed at the time, and it just so happened to work out. So, I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, Peyton, just you got another game coming up, a big one against Ridgeview, a tough team. What does that win right now, do going into that game for you guys?
It really boosts our confidence of only us, but the coaches and everybody. It helps the morale of the team. A lot.
Yeah, and for you guys, I'll let you go after this one. That crowd out there, just talk about how big that was, how that atmosphere, how fun that was to play in front of a crowd that size. I mean, what a great atmosphere.
It was huge. I enjoyed it. Pike County Bowl always changes the game. It could be from a team that you're better than or a team that you're worse than. It's one of those things. It's like a playoff. You never know what's going to happen. So it was fun.
Yeah, same thing, Peyton. I mean, just talk about playing in that atmosphere.
It's crazy. Ever since freshman year, my first Pike County Bowl, it's always been a shock to you. Really, you kind of come out and you get kind of starstruck by it, and you're like, holy crap.
All right, man. Appreciate it. With Shelby Valley's Jordan Little and Christian Lowe, just kind of talk about the Pike County Bowl. I mean, physical play. I mean, Christian on the defensive side, you knew they were coming after it. It was just almost a stalemate there for a while, especially down the stretch. Just talk about how fun that was playing that game and how tough it was.
Well, I knew my job as an outside linebacker. I had to cut off the backside plays. All night it was physicality. It drained you, but the atmosphere of Pike County Bowl, you just get right back up, do it over.
Yeah, and Jordan, you had a big game rushing the ball, had a big touchdown, and just talk about how tough that was running against Pike Central. I mean, it seemed like you were one of those guys, they were focused on Dalton running the game especially. You stepped up, you and Jaden Newsom really stepped up and gave you guys a different look. Just talk about how big that was and kind of what you were seeing out there.
Going into it, we knew it was going to key on Dalton because he had a big game before that. And the coaches told us that somebody's going to step up and do the job, and at night it's just me.
Yeah, and that's a big, tough physical game out there. The Pike Central's line. I didn't know that if they would be that good against you guys. I mean, they really stepped up. Their defensive line played well. Just kind of talk about how tough it was running out there.
It's tough. 4 or 5 yards at a time is what we could get.
Yeah, and Christian, their offense, they've kind of, started throwing the ball a little bit more this year with Tyler Hunt. They still run the ball and are tough runners. Just to kind of talk about what you all did and some of the adjustments that you all made with their offense, because it seemed like they would do something, you all would adjust, they would do. Just kind of talk about that a little bit.
Well, they had that big running back. We knew we had to get him low, stop him on the inside. We kind of cut off all the outside runs, and we started picking up coverages. We got a couple picks, a couple deflections. It was all night long making the adjustments we needed. Yeah,
last thing, and I'll let you guys go. Just kind of talk about how fun that game was. And that, I talked to about the other guys, but that atmosphere was great. I mean, it's got to be, as an athlete, to play in front of a crowd like that's got to be great. Jordan, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
It's just a great atmosphere, seeing your community out there supporting you, and it's just something different.
Yeah, same thing for you, Christian.
Yeah, I mean, pre-game doing stretches, take a peek at the crowd, it's insane. That's probably the biggest Pike County Bowl I ever played in.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're back with Shelby Valley's offensive coordinator Tyler Johnson, defensive coordinator Daniel Harmon. Tough game out there. We'll start with you, Daniel. The defense. What a tough game that it was out there. Just talk about some of the adjustments you guys had to make. Because it seemed down the stretch, you guys really came up with some big plays. I think. Dalton had a big interception to seal the wins. Just talk about some of the things y'all saw out there.
Yes, absolutely. It was a great game. We knew going into it was going to be a hard-fought victory. Going into it, our game plan was stop the power, stop the run, and once we did that, we knew they were going to start taking deep shots at our young, inexperienced corners. But in the end, we prevailed just through the perseverance, and just really proud of my team the way they worked and combated that.
Yeah, and Tyler, it seemed like, the offensive game plan in the second half especially was control the ball, but with the run game. It seemed like that whole second half, y'all were just running the clock. Just talk about how big that was to where you all could control the clock.
Well, Coach Hampton, we're going to run the football more so than I want to, but it's more of his philosophy, not call plays. We're going to run the ball. And then when we get tired of running the ball, we're going to run it some more.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what we do. But in a sec, we talked over some things at halftime about what they were doing up front to us, and made a few adjustments. And we had a good second half. We got in the red zone a few times and didn't score, maybe might have scored, and then, threw an interception on the 4th and long. But time of possession helped their defense, kept their defense off the field, and sometimes in a game like that, they're grinding it out. best thing an offense can do if you can't score is to keep your defense fresh and let them make a play to help you.
Yeah, and speaking of throwing, Dalton did throw that one touchdown, and that was early on. It kind of got the offense going, took some pressure off after Pike Central scored. Just kind of talk about how big that was to, maybe hit them with a play they wouldn't be looking for.
Well, that's an example of a kid that's worked really hard. If you'd have saw Dalton Mead throw football this time last year, you would have called all of us crazy for playing him quarterback. But we'd be out here in February and it, 20 degrees, and he'd be out here and he'd be going through drills and working. And he's still not a great thrower, but with his legs, people's got to honor his running ability. So he can throw it good enough now that if you're letting somebody run open or you give him space to throw it in, he can complete that pass.
Yeah, and Daniel, Dalton makes a lot of plays for you guys on defense. But also, Peyton Blackburn plays both ways. It seemed like he came up with a lot of big plays on that defensive line. Just talk about, how big his physicality is up front, not just on offense, that's what people know, but on defense as well.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Anytime you have someone like Peyton anchoring your defensive line, you're doing something right. He made plays, he fought through everything all night. And a big thing about Peyton's game, not only is his physicality, but he's a student of the game. Like, he understands what the other team's trying to do, and he's great having another coach on the field, able to relay what's going on to me and things like that.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. We've got Bridgeview coming up. Good luck on the rest of the season.
All right, and we're back with Coach Hampton, Shelby Valley Wildcats, coming off a huge win in the Pike County Bowl. Gotta love getting that big win and such a flagship game. Obviously, you want to win every game on your schedule. It's always huge to win a game that's so big for the community.
Yes, the Pike County Bowl, I went to the Pike County Bowl, no matter who you're playing is big because of the atmosphere in the crowd. Our kids really get amped up every year for the Pike County Bowl, and the crowd this past Pike County Bowl was unbelievably impressive. I think it was the standing room only about everywhere he was at. So, and get a win in an atmosphere like that, it's good for our kids for the postseason.
Yeah, and it's one of the things we always talk about. You and Eric, the matchup. He's going to make adjustments. You're going to make adjustments. Just talk about, as a coach, it's got to be one of those games where you like the challenge of, knowing what they're going to do. They know what you're going to do, and trying to overcome that and still find a way to get the win.
Well, games like that are fun as a coach. You got to get your game plan, and both my coordinators had the game plan ready to go and knew what was going to do. And going into the game, a veteran coach like Eric Ratliff, he's going to make adjustments on you, and you had to, counter back what he's doing to you. So throughout the game, both coordinators and myself, we was bouncing ideas off each other and talking. And as a coach, whether you're a coordinator or head coach, doesn't matter. Those are the kind of games you want to coach in.
Yeah, and it seemed like, we talked about, all the senior guys that we talked to here on the interviews, but some of your younger guys stepped up too. Ethan Bentley had a big catch. Jaden Newsom, a freshman. Just kind of talk about some of these young guys getting that experience because, those atmospheres, you don't see those all the time in the regular season.
Well, we spent the week talking to the guys and letting them know, coming into this game, we knew they were going to key Dalton Mead. If I was coaching the other defense, I'd key Dalton Mead, just to be honest. But knowing that fact, we told a lot of these kids on both sides of the ball, some young kids going to have to step up, and we knew somebody would. We wasn't sure it was going to be, and we had a lot of kids step up with some big plays at big moments, and I think it's going to go a long way for those kids' confidence and maturity as a player.
Yeah, and, just talk about what this does the rest of the season for everybody. I mean, Ridgeview, another big game. They got some talent. The running back over there is getting looks by everybody. But you guys got it going into that game with some momentum as well. So just talk about how big that is.
Well, anytime you start out, some wins under your belt with some quality opponents, Pike Central and Letcher Central are both very good teams. And we were fortunate enough to, pull off the win in both those games. And anytime you do that, especially when you've got some young kids, the situation we're in this year is our line is veterans. Our line's been there, done that. A lot of the skilled kids, it's their first time around, and being able to pull off some wins and them being put in some tough situations and succeed is really big as far as moving forward, not just for the next game, but rest of the season.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach Hampton. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
And it's now time for the weekly segment, Talkin Picks, where we make the picks for this week's Appalachian newspapers and, talk about some of these insane picks that I make. These guys, big capital J journalists over here.
Yeah, I went 6-6 last week. So.
Yeah, me too.
So I think I may have come out of this one pretty good.
I think you went 6-6 last week too.
Maybe not. I thought I did way better than that, but whatever.
You were either 6-6 or 7-5.
Much better than last season.
Yeah,
did better than
you got off to a slow start last year.
Really slow, and a slow finish. Pretty slow in the middle too. Okay.
We won't go through all 12 picks.
Yeah.
We'll throw those up on the screen and y'all can see them. But we will highlight Pikeville and Paintsville. Big game from Pikeville. We talked about them a little bit, but Paintsville had a big weekend as well. They beat Beechwood. Beechwood is the reigning Class A champion. They went up to 2A. They go up there. Paintsville escapes with a 19-14 win in Georgetown. So, huge win. I don't know if a lot of people saw that one coming. Yeah. So, that sets up Pikeville-Paintsville now, and it's at Paintsville. I went Pikeville with the pick.
I also went Pikeville. Like we said earlier, boys, I just think that, Pikeville really just proved how good they really were like the other night. So, I mean, I don't have any doubts that Pikeville's going to walk away in that one.
I mean, the Paintsville-Beechwood game took me by surprise. I didn't see that coming. That being said, I took Pikeville also. Just really impressed by what they did against Mingo Central, and I expect them to keep rolling this week.
Okay, moving on to college. We got Texas A&M at Clemson. Clemson opens up at an 18.5-point favorite.
Nuts.
Which is insane over a good Texas A&M team.
Yep.
No surprise I took Clemson.
Oh, yeah, I got Clemson, too. I think they got maybe the best quarterback in college football.
Absolutely. So okay. I took Clemson in the picks, but I love Texas A&M and the points.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 18.5 is huge.
Yeah. A&M covers that all day. Kellen Mond's a good quarterback, underrated quarterback, I think.
How good is Clemson if the guys in Vegas say they're 18.5 points favorite over Texas A&M? I mean, that is a good team.
Yeah, Clemson's a great team. They only won by 2 in this game last year. I'm not saying Texas A&M's going to win this game. They will cover.
Yeah. And moving on, we got LSU and Texas. LSU's a 4.5-point favorite. I took Texas in this one.
Ooh. I did too. Hook 'em horns, baby.
Well, then I'm the only one. I liked LSU last year. I love them this year. Joe Burrow, big year this year. Maybe SEC champions LSU. Coach O.
Very well could be. All right, moving on. The NFL starts this week 2. So we'll open up with Pittsburgh at New England. New England 6.5-point favorite. No surprise. I'm going to pick anybody against Pittsburgh, so I took New England over this one.
I also took New England too because I'm really not going to bet against Tom Brady. I've done it way too many times in the past, and he's just...
Well, he won a Super Bowl last year with no weapons. He's got weapons all over the field this year.
Man, he's ageless.
Well, here's what's going to happen. New England's going to ho-hum their way through the entire regular season, and then they're going to win the Super Bowl. But I picked Pittsburgh in this game.
Nah, come on.
Shout out, Tyler.
All right, our other NFL game we're going to talk about is Cincinnati at Seattle. Seattle is a 9.5-point favorite. I'm a big Bengals fan, so I went with the Bengals. I know we don't have AJ, but still, this is just total fandom pick.
I mean,
I went with Seattle because I don't like the Bengals, Randy.
Well, 9.5-point favorites, no AJ Green. It's almost impossible.
Plus, they just got Clowney too, so I'm pretty excited about that.
I love the Cincinnati Bengals.
But you're not going to be
preface this with, I love the Cincinnati Bengals. I cannot stand Andy Dalton. AJ Green's last year under contract. Think he stays?
Absolutely not.
Re-up with the Bengals? No. I don't have much faith in that happening either, and I also don't have a whole lot of faith in the team this season. I hope they prove me wrong. So my thinking on this, I pick against the Bengals. They win, so I got Seattle.
I just think AJ Green's going to want to go play with a good quarterback.
Well, I mean, at some point you think so, but I think Mike Brown really likes AJ Green. And if Mike Brown likes somebody, he's going to take care of him. He gave me and Jarvis Green Ellis a monster contract,
and
just because he liked him.
We suffered through Marvin Lewis for the better part of my adulthood. So,
and real quick before we wrap things up, any predictions for the NFL season? Any Super Bowl picks? Anything crazy? Also, any crazy NCAA picks? I'll let you all start because I have not thought about this at all. Josh, do you got any picks for Super Bowl?
AFC, NFC, who you got?
AFC, probably New England again. Maybe the Chiefs, though, because they did get Tyreek Hill back, so I think that helps them out a lot. And then didn't they get LaShawn McCoy too?
No.
Yeah, he went. They got.
No, they did get LaShawn.
No, did
yeah, they did. I thought they did.
Yeah.
I thought the Bills cut him and then he signed with them. So I thought that was a really good pickup.
That is a huge
kind of to replace, Kareem Hunt. NFC. I go with the Eagles.
That's not a bad pick. I would say, let's say a Chiefs. Let's go. I don't know.
Rams?
Rams got. Let's go Rams. I like the Rams, the defense. And if Todd Gurley is healthy like they say he is, that's not a bad pick. I'll go Chiefs Rams. That's what I did last year. We'll stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking before we came back on. I like Pittsburgh. I feel like it's been a little bit of a drought since they've been to the Super Bowl, and I'm just in the years where people don't expect a whole lot from the Steelers. That's when they come out and they just tear people apart. Listen, it hurts me to say that. You know, I don't love saying that. For some reason, my gut tells me
but you said it
Steelers
anyway.
come out of the AFC and the NFC, man. I guess I like the Rams. Also like the Vikings. I like. Hey, listen.
Ooh,
Here,
like
whoa. Here is the fairy tale scenario. Drew Brees in the Super Bowl beats the Steelers and retires.
Well, if you were going to pick Saints, wouldn't you pick him against Tom Brady, two other quarterbacks?
No, I don't. I'm done with the Patriots. I'm sick of seeing them in the.
They're just so consistent.
I want no
man.
part of seeing another Patriots Super Bowl. I'm done with it. I'm all set on Patriots Super Bowls.
I mean, I'd like to see Pat Mahomes get one.
Last thing, any crazy NCAA picks? I think, it's probably Clemson. I don't know if anybody can do anything against them.
I think I already gave mine. I think LSU wins the SEC, if not Georgia. It's not Bama this year.
Let's hope not.
It's not Bama. It's either LSU or Georgia.
I honestly just kind of want to see Clemson beat Bama again. Like, that to me is beautiful.
And the final question is, does UK make a bowl game after that opening week?
Absolutely. What? Yes.
Even though I have no faith in Terry Wilson, I will say they will.
Terry Wilson had a decent game statistically.
They did look better as the game went on, but that first half
terrible first quarter, really.
And Smoke, by the way, is not only an All-American name, like you said last week, he's going to be a pretty good player, though.
That's an all-time name, and he's a good player. I think Kentucky gets 8 wins. I'm not exactly sure where those come from, but I do think Kentucky gets 8 wins. I think they beat Eastern Michigan. They handle them easily this week, and I think we beat Florida.
I also think we beat Florida.
Also, Louisville is terrible. Louisville's going to get beat by 1 million tonight. Mark that down. Notre Dame's going to score 1 million points.
1 million points.
Yeah.
The Dr. Evil pick of the week.
Ian Book. Shout out to Ian Book. He's gonna throw over under on Ian Book touchdowns tonight 5 for sure.
Oh wow.
Bold prediction. He's gonna throw 5 touchdowns. Yeah. It may push. But Louisville. The bottom line is Louisville's garbage.
Yes.
Okay. We can all agree on that. Okay. Great. All right, so we appreciate everybody joining us again, all the coaches and players from the Shelby Valley Wildcats. Good luck to those guys this week against Ridgeview, and we'll be talking a little bit more high school football, a little more college, a little more NFL as the season goes on, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again.